Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Oddity Shop. I am sitting here tonight with the hostess with the mostest, Kara Warner.
Or Parakovic.
Or Parakovic.
It's fine.
You haven't even changed it legally. I can call you whatever I want.
Yeah, you can. You call me horrible things.
Most of them behind your back, honestly.
Right, I know.
And I guess I'll introduce myself since Kara's think about the terrible names I call her. I'm Zach.
Hi, Zach.
What are you drinking?
Well, without diving too much into it, along with you, but I've had a really horrible week. So if you want to shoot your girl some DMs with some inspiration, no dick pics, inspiration, I would appreciate it. We're holding back tears. That is some wine because I really needed it after today.
Just don't drink too much wine because that lets the tears go, and I'm so not ready for it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm almost past it. I think I'm past those tears, but I will say that I do have stress hiccups. So if they keep coming up, I'm really sorry. Right before we started recording, they're really bad. They're away now, but they might come back.
Kara's had a tough week. We're not going to talk about it. We don't want to make the tears flow. What do you want to talk about this week?
I have a few things because I can't believe the last 2 times we recorded, which feels like forever ago because we were really on top.
I know. I was going to say we were really like ahead of things, and now I feel like
we're not at all.
No.
But that's okay.
It happens.
But I can't believe that I didn't, and I had it written down to say, but I didn't, is that I really wanted to say that, Lyle Blackburn liked all of our stuff, which he was like, I mentioned him in like one of our first episodes, the Falcon Monster.
It was the very first episode.
It might have been the first episode.
Can you believe it was 22 episodes ago?
I know, it's wild. But he wrote a bunch of books that I got some research from, and he has like a really awesome Instagram. He does a lot of stuff with cryptids. He has a really cool band. I mean, he's all over the place. He's just awesome. And I think he's like really freaking cool. And he liked our shit. And I lost my mind.
We're basically famous.
And
now.
then I lost my mind. And then he liked some more things. And I lost my mind some more. Screenshotted it to you, Aaron, my husband, and I was like losing my mind. And you both were like, yeah, it's really cool, but like calm down. But I was like geeked. And I can't believe I didn't even say anything about it. So there's that.
There is that.
Also, I really thought of what my hellhound's name would be.
Ooh.
Because we had some options and I'm like, no, I can't believe I didn't even think about this. I would name my hellhound Anubis.
Ooh, that's perfect.
I know. I
can't believe it took you like a month to think of that.
Well, I thought of it almost after, but I was waiting to tell you until we record so that it would be like fresh.
Got it.
And then the only other thing that I want to say is that we've been manifesting a lot. We've been really working on that kind of stuff, crystals and things like that.
Positivity and just good energy.
Positivity and journaling, mindfulness journaling and things like that. And so I've been manifesting like everything I want for us, for the podcast, for life, things like that, to be friends with Sam and Colby. And I broke down because I was convinced that my manifesting gave Colby testicular cancer.
First of all, I don't think that's how it works. Second, you can manifest it all you want, but if you bring them up every episode, they're gonna think you're obsessed.
I know. But anyway, so then you had to tell me that I didn't manifest him to have ball cancer. And he's fine. Thankfully, he had surgery and apparently he's doing well. I will say that do you know if you go live, you can watch the replay, right? Like you can still watch it after it's been done?
I have no idea, in all honesty.
I don't either. Well, he went live on, I think YouTube or Instagram. I don't remember. And he basically just talked about his like journey or whatever. It was just really informational. And like, he was really light about it. And like, I know you couldn't watch it. I think I sent it to you. You were busy, but like I watched it live and he was like, had humor about it, but he was actually like in all seriousness, like this was super important. And then, now he's going to start working. He wants to work with some charities and not charities, like foundations for like cancer and things like that.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm like, I don't know. It's really cool. So I just had to put that out there. I didn't give him cancer. I still haven't been friends with him yet, but
also between him and people I know, younger and younger people are getting it. We are not immune. Make sure you check yourself.
That's exactly what his message was. And I guess when he was talking to his doctor, he's like, yeah, it actually is like, I guess, younger men. But anyway, we'll just put that out there. I guess that's for anybody. Check yourself. I feel like we haven't talked in weeks, so we could sit here and talk forever because it's been crazy, but I think that's probably all I have. What do you have?
I had a New Orleans trip.
Yes, you did.
And then I got food poisoning on the flight home, which made for a really, really enjoyable
Yes,
flight.
you did. And I feel like this is all why we're backed up. We haven't really talked to each other.
No, I was recovering from that, getting back into work, just trying to get back into normal life. So I don't know. I think we should just jump in. What do you got for me this week?
I have one more thing because I think this is really cute because you and I listen to so many podcasts, right? And so you start listening to podcasts and you don't know these people, but you feel like you do because you listen to them. It's like you're talking to them. So like you kind of think you're friends, right? And I just thought it was really funny because you went on your trip and I've never met Missy's husband. And you were just telling me how excited he was about things that you bought. Like,
yeah. So Danny and Missy's husband, Danny, and Lauren, our other friend who went on the trip, are like, I love it. They give us so much podcast love. It's insane. But like, I'd be shopping for a gift for you or whatever. They'd be like, oh my God, Kara would love that. It's like they already know you.
Like they know me. And it's so funny because I'm like, it sounds so weird, but because we listen to so many podcasts and I feel like I'm friends with everybody I listen to, it makes so much sense. And I just like absolutely love it, appreciate it. So I had to shout that out.
I love
but yes,
and appreciate
let's get into
the appreciation from them and always listening and giving feedback. So love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And I need to meet Danny.
Yes, you do.
Anyway. Okay. So today, I don't think you know a lot about this, but you might surprise me. We are talking about 1895 Rising Glen Road, sorry. My bad. Lane sounds better.
It does have a better ring to it.
It does. So the address, I know you won't. I don't think anyone's going to know.
It's not ringing a bell at all.
It will start.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're talking about 1895 Rising Glen Road, which is in West Hollywood, California. This is a 5-bedroom, 8.5 bath mansion with a darker history. December 20th, 2009, actress Brittany Murphy was pronounced dead at age 32 in her California home at 1895 Rising Glen Drive.
Okay, I think I do know about this one now.
LA Fire Department responded to a 911 call from Sharon, Brittany's mother, who lived in the home with Brittany and her husband, Simon. Disputed circumstances were the cause of her death. Does that kind of sound familiar? You kind of know about all that ish?
I think so. It's like, it's kind of clicking, but not really. So just tell me the story.
Brittany Murphy was one of my favorite. Oh gosh, she's still my favorite. I love her stuff. So anyway, okay. So far what is told is that she collapsed after experiencing flu-like symptoms for a few days. She was taking over-the-counter flu medications, according to her husband, and she seemed fine otherwise. So it wasn't until February is when it was concluded that her death was a result of untreated pneumonia, along with anemia and drug intoxication from prescription and over-the-counter meds. So nothing illegal, like no illegal drugs.
It was just kind of like a deadly cocktail of over-the-counter?
Supposedly. Well, that and being undiagnosed of pneumonia and anemia. So anemia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So other than like drug use and eating disorders that went around for years about her, it's sad, but like due to the line of the work that she was in, she was an actress, model, whatever. We know all that stuff. So other than those two things, there are some other compelling theories that have gone back and forth. Now, I will say that when our beloved celebrities die young, I feel like the public needs to blame someone to be able to accept it because these are like our heroes.
Yeah, it's like we have to have some sort of answer.
Correct. And when it's like not that clear, it's like we need to blame people. All right. So that's where it comes in of her abusive, in quotations, abusive husband. So Simon Monjack, he's a British-born filmmaker. But he's mostly commonly known for being a pathological liar.
Oh.
So he was said to have lied about being a billionaire, claimed to have survived terminal spinal cancer multiple times.
Oh, God.
He lied about dating Madonna, which everybody knows everything about Madonna since she was like 16. So you can't lie about that.
Spinal cancer and Madonna, those are hefty and hard to cover lies.
So he also lied about owning the largest collection of Johannes Vermeer paintings. I don't know if that's correct, but Vermeer, yeah. Filmmaker Alison Burnett recalls meeting him at a party in 1999 where he lied about owning 17 Ferraris.
Why?
The quote that this person said was, "I couldn't believe that this bottom-feeding sociopath had actually worked his way up the food chain to someone who's actually a legitimate artist." This was about Britney. She was later quoted saying, so on top of all of that, he was allegedly really controlling of Britney.
How long were they married?
Not long at all.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, because like, I'm not trying to be this person. Looks mean nothing. You know what I mean? Like they shouldn't. But if you look at this man, I'm sorry, but he's gross.
Do we know how they got together?
Yeah, I think they met at like a party, like mutual friends, whatever, because he kind of was like, that quote said he's like a bottom feeder. He kind of like weaseled his way into all this shit,
Gotcha.
You know? So like I said, on top of all that, he was allegedly really controlling. He made himself her manager, so fired her actual manager. He became her manager. He managed her finances, all her emails. He managed her phone. And it was actually unclear if she even actually had her own access to her phone.
That's way too much.
He allegedly controlled her food, her makeup, all her relationships. This part isn't alleged, but she did become really thin and frail. And like, it was known that she was always fatigued. And if you do look at pictures of her, like later on, like in this time frame, 2009, she was very, very skinny, like very skinny, very frail looking. Like she did not look healthy. And that's kind of why there was always rumors of her like having eating disorders and drug disorders.
I remember all that.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that kind of fueled all the drug abuse and eating disorders or rumors. Alex Merkin, who directed Murphy in a 2009 film called Across the Hall, which I've never seen that, but they talk about all the red flags, such as like Monjack seeming out of it all the time and Murphy exhibiting Jekyll and Hyde behavior. So the quote was, Brittany would come to set and be in a really good space, and then I would see her go off with Simon. He said when she'd come back, it felt like there was a stark change in her mood. So that to me could be like, are you off doing drugs? Because like if he's out of it and then she's switching moods, like maybe I don't know, or he's just
done something that like if he's controlling her.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, her once thriving career really slowed down after her marriage, as rumors of Monjack made it really difficult to work with her. Because remember, he was managing her. Now he's like being on set. He's controlling her on set.
Yeah,
so
nobody wants to deal with that.
Correct. Okay. Elizabeth Ragsdale, which is Simon's ex-fiance, told the producers of What Happened, Brittany Murphy, it's a documentary, that even while she was pregnant herself, Simon isolated her. So this woman was engaged to him and had a baby, and nobody even really knew about it because he didn't allow it. She said, I know why Brittany chose Simon. He worked his spell on her and she fell in love like I did. At one point, she said that she fell during her pregnancy and he neglected to take her to the hospital. Like he wouldn't take her.
Yikes. That's a big red flag right there.
Mm-hmm. Ragsdale said he threatened to take away their son if she revealed herself to Brittany Murphy. So Brittany Murphy didn't even know this. She didn't even know that he had a baby with this woman and that they were once engaged.
How many red flags do you need?
Right. But she doesn't know.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Elizabeth said the stakes were a lot higher with him being married to Brittany. He didn't need anybody to know that I was out there with his son. And then Ragsdale also said her weight loss may have been brought on by Monjack, who loved anorexic women.
Oh, God. So he's like basically starving her.
Mm-hmm. So Ed Winter was the coroner in the case, and his quote was, the cause of death is not a mystery. The mystery is why didn't somebody catch it? Had they taken her to the doctor a few days before, she would still be alive. He adds that he received information that Monjack made it a habit of keeping Brittany up late into the night to devastating effect. She wasn't getting enough rest and her immune system was dropping, which we know that in any like case of a cult leader, they starve you, they take away your sleep because then you're not in your right mind. Like,
no, it becomes way easier to control somebody when they're not totally with it.
So Ragsdale also says that she believes her ex is guilty. She, a quote says, if he did not kill Brittany Murphy, he allowed her to die because he did not get her to the doctor when she needed help. So on top of all of that, Simon also did not want an autopsy. He was trying to not get one. And he was quoted saying, which this is so freaking disturbing to me because this was like an interview on TV. His quote is, "This pristine body that was curvy in all the right places and her skin like silk. How can I say in front of her mother, cut it up?"
I feel like what more evidence do you need that he had something to do with it? Whenever people are trying to block an autopsy, especially the ones closest to that person, there's a reason.
Right. Okay. So that docuseries kind of takes you down a path that Simon could have controlled Murphy basically to death to gain her money, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So that is just kind of the abusive husband. Was he starving her? Was he neglecting her in that aspect? But then there's also poisoning is another theory. So.
But wouldn't they have caught that during
Well, here, let me get into it. So Angelo Bertolotti is Brittany's father. He is estranged at this point, okay, but he is her father. He believed that she was purposely poisoned. On Good Morning America, he was quoted saying, "I have a feeling that there was a definite murder here." He commissioned a report that showed that there was heavy metals in her system. And the toxicologist, though, his name is Bruce Goldberger, stated that those labs don't necessarily mean that the person was poisoned, though. However, Angelo believes that Murphy's mom, so Brittany Murphy's mom and her husband were the ones that poisoned her.
Why were they estranged?
I don't know. I couldn't find anything on that.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure. But Amber Ryland she's an interviewer and she's not an interviewer. What's the word? Interviewer?
Yeah, that's right.
Why does that sound weird? So she got an exclusive interview with Simon. And she said that when she visited the home, it appeared that Simon and her mother were sharing the bed.
Brittany Murphy's mom or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And him were sharing the same bed. She stated that they would she would act odd. Her mom would act really odd around him. And she also stated that Sharon acted very submissively towards him. And then there was, I didn't write it in here, but basically this reporter, Amber, was trying to get the exclusive. So she was basically said that she was made to be kind of camp out in front of the house and kind of wait.
Yeah.
And it was around Christmas time. So her boss had told her to send flowers to the house, as a, sorry or whatever. And he takes this interview and he gets her phone number and he basically calls her and was something along the lines is this Amber or whatever? And she says, yes. He goes, I wanted to let you know I got the flowers. Thank you. And he was I've been thinking about you ever since. So your wife just died.
Yeah. He's basically going for anything.
Well, are you trying to manipulate it so that she doesn't think that you're the issue? It was just weird. And I mean, I guess if you were Sharon, though, you would really act strange if a reporter, that's what I was trying to think of, not interviewer.
There you go.
A reporter's there. If you just poisoned your child, you probably would act really freaking weird, but you probably are having something with, oh God, weird. Okay. So there's that, the poisoning part. They think it's them two together. And then there's toxic mold. So rumors started that their Hollywood home was full of black mold. So I kind of just grabbed 10 signs of mold toxicity because it does do crazy things.
I was going to say, yeah, a lot of what you've already stated, I feel like the pneumonia and anemia could both be contributed to mold.
Fungal arthritis is one of them. Digestive problems, fatigue, which she had a lot of, depression, which she kind of did, insomnia, apparently she never slept, intense cough, migraine, asthma attack, watery eyes, and skin infection. Now, Sharon, Brittany's mom, said that this was absurd. She said she was never personally asked by the coroner or the health department to get the house inspected for mold. So she just thought that this was stupid. And I'm to me though, if I was a mother and my daughter died at 32 of this weird crap and nobody really knows why, I would be yeah, I'm going to get the house tested.
Also, I feel though it's not the coroner's job to say, get it tested for mold.
Right. Whatever. Roger Neal, a spokesperson for the family, told People magazine that in 2009, the home was inspected because of a leak issue. So this is still the same year. And no mold was found during that inspection.
Okay.
So I don't know if that meant 2009 before this happened and there could have definitely been mold after, or after this happened. I'm not quite sure because this happened in December. So she died in December.
I mean,
so I don't think it happened after.
The leak could have started it.
Right. However, then at some point, Sharon became more fond of this theory because she claims to have then found mold in the walls, which is really weird to me because there was no mold and you weren't even like the slightly a bit down with this theory. So now I'm thinking, were reporters coming and freaked you out? So now you have to like find a story. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a little weird. But Brittany Murphy's autopsy showed no evidence of like mold poisoning or toxic mold anything. So,
okay.
But again, it's still really weird. Like the autopsy reports are just weird and bizarre and like nobody actually knows. So who knows if it's like a cover up? I'm not sure. But I do think these rumors were more so the public was trying to make sense of this because they weren't getting any sort of actual answer. They were getting these weird interviews from her mother and her husband on all these, crap. So I think that's kind of where the rumors started. And like you said, a lot of what happened to her does make sense with the toxic mold. I don't know. Based on all of this so far, how do you feel?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of like when most celebrities die, right? Like we, as the general public, feel we deserve an answer, but you're probably just not ever going to get something that makes everybody feel okay.
Do you think that it's like the husband or the husband and the mom or mold? Like, what are you leaning towards right now?
I don't know. I feel like whenever people start like switching stories in the history, it's probably something
weird.
with them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what if I told you that Brittany Murphy hated staying at 1895 Rising Glen? After her death, in an interview, Simon shared that his late wife tried to avoid the home at all costs. Never wanted to be there.
Why?
She called the home unlucky, and she was planning to move her mom and him to New York later that year.
Was her mom living in the house before she passed?
Yeah, they were all living together.
Okay.
So she had plans that we're not here. So he was quoted saying she absolutely hated Rising Glen House. Every time we would drive up Sunset, Britt would say, "Please, can we stay at Beverly Hills Hotel?" I'd say, "Honey, you've got to be realistic. We have our house, a 10,000 square foot home. You're going to stay in it." So she hated it.
Do we know that she hated it, or is that just the story he told?
This is what he told, but there were some other accounts that said that she just hated being there.
Okay.
And that she would try to stay at a hotel if she had to.
Gotcha.
Like if her mom or him weren't around, like she would not stay in that house. Okay. Now, what if I told you that Simon died in the home 5 months later due to pneumonia and possible drug use?
Okay, so maybe now there is mold.
His mother was quoted saying, "All I know is that before Simon's death, he was having hallucinations that things were crawling out of his skin." She claims that he did find mold in the house, but nobody else has seen this mold. Inspectors haven't seen this mold.
Do you feel the most powerful and beautiful with the elements of the earth around you? Do you like one-of-a-kind jewelry? Do you sometimes feel like a woodland fairy? Me too. That's why I created Holly and Hemlock, a magical shop filled with handmade wooden jewelry and metaphysical tools. Come check out our enchanting wooden wares at www.hollyhemlock.com and join us in honoring the magic and beauty of nature with each unique creation. That's www.hollyhemlock.com.
Did anybody find meth?
Right? No. So now we have 2 deaths in a very short amount of time. Are you ready for this?
Are there previous deaths at the house?
Now, what if I told you that in 2001, our queen, Brittany Spears, bought the beautiful mansion while in her JT era? She resided at 1895 Rising Glen until their breakup in 2002, Crimea River. But we're not going to talk about the iconic denim appearance as much as we want to. Okay. After a wild weekend of partying, because remember, this is like 2000s Brittany.
Right.
She needed some cleansing. Her makeup artist at the time, Julianne Kay, so she was her artist from 99 to 2004, so she's a really good friend. She knew a friend that would perform a Reiki healing. So this is a quote from Julianne from the We Need to Talk About Britney podcast. And this is her quote. "I had a friend do a Reiki healing on her. She had come up, I guess she'd had a crazy partying weekend and needed to relax, she recalled. He left and she swears to God that he opened some spirit portal or something, and these bad spirits came in and they were trying to like push her down the stairs or something crazy.
See, this sounds more familiar now. This is why
it was so bad that she left. She went to the Casa del Mar Hotel to stay there and never went back to the house. She goes, I know you're going to think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I know what I saw and I know what I felt. She never went back and apparently left it completely furnished with all the shit in it.
What kind of Reiki healer are they?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that, like, you have to be trying.
Well, either way, that's the tragic death of Brittany Murphy in the house that possibly killed her. So I don't know, because the fact that Brittany Murphy hated being there. And then you find out Brittany Spears was like, oh, hell no, this place is haunted as hell and I ain't going back. I don't know what I think.
Are there any other people who have owned it who've had weirdness there?
Not that I could find.
Maybe it's just like a ghost that doesn't like Britney's, or a spirit that doesn't like Britney's.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. But if it's negative energy, I mean, it really could be fueling the fact that, like, okay, Simon Monjack was already a complete ass, right? He's already a bad human.
Right.
Regardless. We already know that. So bad energy clings to bad energy. So maybe that was fueling that kind of weird energy and making it worse for Brittany Murphy. Because if she really didn't want there, but she was forced to be there, I don't know.
It's just so weird that they both died in such a short time too. Like, you wonder if there's something else going on behind closed doors that just...
Well, that's what I also think, because from all accounts, like, he was healthy. I mean, he was like fat. Like, he wasn't starving himself. Not to say that you can't have pneumonia and drug addictions and things like that, but it's just all so very weird. Like him kind of flirting with the reporters, and then apparently, I don't know if he was sleeping with her mom, but at least sharing the same bed and being really weird with her.
That part's just really strange.
I know toxic mold can make you wig out and hallucinate, but then it's like,
but
okay, so
like
he was seeing...
To have like really bad health ailments from toxic mold, you have to be dealing with it for an extended period of time.
Well, and then it's also like, wouldn't you think her mom would be experiencing something from it?
Right.
Because she lived there that whole entire time.
Anybody who would be in the house would.
Correct. So I just don't know if that's what I think that it is. And I do think that he was really controlling. I mean, that was like most accounts of it was he was really controlling, and he definitely had her mother roped into it, because at one point, like, it was said that she couldn't breathe and she was crying and couldn't even walk, and she just kept saying, "Mommy, I can't breathe," and they fucking did nothing.
That's insane to me.
So it's like, why would you let your daughter die?
You have to be like some sort of heartless to allow that.
So are you heartless, or are you being controlled by a demon that was opened by this Reiki healer that fucked up? And what I have to say is, I think that this Reiki healer fucked up Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears' relationship.
I mean, I've never done like a Reiki session. I know it's all about energy and stuff, but I feel like you're not sitting there opening portals though.
Well, okay, maybe the portal was already there. The Reiki session just pissed off what was ever there already.
Right. It'd be interesting to know more of the history of the house, like who lived there before them.
I know. I was kind of looking. I couldn't find anything into that. You know, every time you type in the address, it brings up Brittany Murphy and the death at the address. So it was really kind of hard to find stuff beyond that. And it's been remodeled, and like, I don't know if it was completely demolished and remodeled, but it's like not even the same home anymore. So I didn't hear anything about it.
I would imagine
now,
after like a celebrity death, you don't just keep it the same.
No, but I just thought it was really strange, because I kind of started looking into it, because I've always like heard all the rumors and the conspiracies, and I was kind of going down. We haven't really done a conspiracy. So I'm like, all right, what are the conspiracies around Brittany Murphy's death, right? And then it turned into like, I'm like, I didn't realize Britney Spears lived there and was like afraid of this house because it was like haunted or whatever.
Interesting.
This is a little strange.
So what do you think?
Yeah. I think it was all energy. I think that he's a piece of shit. He was definitely controlling her. She for sure had like eating and all her own things, right? Maybe contributed by him, but the industry, we all know, especially around that time, the industry is really freaking bad.
Oh yeah. If you couldn't pull off low-rise jeans and, 0.5% body fat, then.
Correct. So that just like drains you. And I think that when you are drained like that, you're not mentally stable, you do let in things that you don't mean to, or you don't think that you are. So I don't know. I think the house definitely had a lot to do with it. I think it did.
Interesting. I want to know more. I want to know the history of it.
I know. But isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is really weird. I remember for some reason the part about like Brittany living there and then him dying just a couple months after stuck in my head. But yeah, definitely a strange one.
I don't know if I said this, but they only lived in that house for 6 months. Like when Brittany died, they'd only been there 6 months.
Oh, really? How was her health before that?
I mean, well, when she married him, that's kind of when everything really declined. Yeah. That's why she lost a lot of work. So I do really think it had a lot to do with him. Like her everything.
Yeah, just a controlling piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. But you need to, I know I don't want to keep saying this, but you need to look at pictures of him with her because he's like old and fat and ugly.
I mean, that really doesn't mean anything. It comes down to...
It doesn't, but you have to, I'm just like, what? He must have been a real good manipulator because look at him.
Some people just have that skill.
He clearly did. Look at him, okay?
Fair. All right. I'll have to look at it. I kind of want to, I don't know. I want to dig into it a little bit more.
Yeah, do. Because if you find more, we could have like a
catch up.
Yeah, like a correction or not correction, but yeah, I think. Also, you just said it and it was in my notes to talk about, but we already we're talking too much. Okay. If we ever become big and then we could have our, what is it called? Like our umbrella, like we'd be the label and we'd have other podcasts under us. What the hell is that called?
A network?
Yeah. Thank you. Jesus. I know what it should be called.
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. I think we need more than 100 listeners an episode before we get there.
I know, but we're manifesting.
Okay. What are we calling it?
Fair enough. Because in every conversation that you and I have, 400 times you'll say to me, fair enough.
I do say it a lot. I actually cut it quite a bit too.
Okay, fair enough. No, I'm not even saying recording. Just in life in general, you'll always be like, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So
I feel like instead of saying okay, I just say fair.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just funny because you're always just I'll be talking and be like, yep, fair enough.
I've noticed probably in the last 6 months how much I actually do say it, and I find it really fucking annoying now. Mostly because I'm cutting it out of our podcast every 12 seconds.
I was when I realized how much I said so. Okay, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're annoyed with your life. And then you realize that you say it all the time.
Right.
But anyway, I'm not mad at it. I like it, but I'm just saying that's what we'd be calling it.
All right, well, fair enough.
Frick you. All right, do you have anything else to close us out?
No, I want to go check that out now. Oh, I forgot. So the gift I got you when I was in New Orleans, so I got out of an Uber and the Uber dropped me off right in front of this amazing woman who was selling crystals on the corner. It was it's Frenchman Street, so right off of Bourbon Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I started looking at them, and it was me and Danny kind of digging through them, and he said something like, "Oh, that's an amethyst." She's like, "Oh, you know your crystals." I'm like, I'm dabbling, I'm learning. So we started talking back and forth, and she was just she was so positive. She was so cute. She kept going and getting more stuff from her car, and just so we were talking about the podcast and everything, and we started following each other on Instagram. But if anybody wants to check her out, her name is Power Shower on Instagram, and you can see some of her crystal creations. She does earrings, rings, keychains, raw crystal, and it's all at really, really good prices. But check her out, show her some love. She was really awesome. And
yeah, you had texted me literally right after. And so I was you're I just followed her. So I'm went to her page. I'm looking and she has a lot of really cool stuff. So I was oh, sweet.
Yes. Yeah, definitely check her out. But yeah, that's about.
What was her name? Do you remember what her name was?
Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on it right now.
You told me it too.
I know. I'm sure it's on her Instagram.
It probably is, but I think it's in her text messages too. You didn't tell me her name in this, but I know you told me her name. Either way, power shower.
Yeah, Power Shower Art.
Power Shower Art.
Yeah, it doesn't have her name, unfortunately.
I know you told it to me when we talked, but now I don't remember what you told me.
Maybe she'll listen and let us know.
All right. Well, like we said before, you had a rough week. I had a really, really rough week. So if anybody wants to send us inspiration, DM us, make us feel good.
Leave us a review.
Yeah, leave us a review, comment,
all the fun
subscribe,
stuff.
All the things. But most importantly, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, and with that, you're leading into it. You got it. Go for it.
Most importantly, creep it real, oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oddity Shop.